Dubs OT.
Can't wait.
With John Dickinson.
Hey, JD, what you up to, sugar? Long time no talk to.
On KNBR 104.5 and 6.8. Streaming live at KNBR.com and on the KNBR app.
6 on the
Draymond, give me the ball. Warriors were looking to get the ball to Steph, but Draymond said, I'm open. I got this. Turnover cause havoc again. It's going to be Warriors basketball.
All right, Warriors get a win. Wow, what a win. We talked about the fact that they weren't all going to be pretty on Just Dubs earlier. We welcome you into Dubs OT as we're back here for another round. First of 7 at home for the Warriors, and we're back here at Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City as the Warriors find a way. 115-110 is the final. They beat the Detroit Pistons, this young up-and-coming Pistons squad that really took it to the Warriors at different times of the game, but not the most aesthetically pleasing game for sure. A lot of fouls. I think too many fouls. But overall, I thought a highly competitive game. And I thought one of the more competitive, physical, back and forth, intense games in Chase Center for the entire season. A lot of the Warrior big moments have been on the road. Even early in the year during the 12-3 start, they went in Boston, they went in OKC. They did have the first Clay return game. That one was special with Stephen Curry taking the game over late. There have been a couple others come back against Phoenix right before New Year's. There have been a few, but a lot of the big Warrior grind-out, exciting thrillers have come on the road. So tonight, again, not the most aesthetically pleasing game, but they find a way to improve now to 11-1 with Jimmy Butler in the lineup, and 11-2 overall since the trade. 115-110 is the final. 808 KNBR is the number. 415-808-5627 to jump in and join the conversation. The Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line is open at 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. And as always, we appreciate everybody filing in on YouTube and Twitch here. A long game in the building that sits behind me here as we're at Thrive City and Harmonic Brewing. But it winds up being a game that, the Warriors are trying to, I think, shake off a little bit of the first home game off a long road trip, kind of a rust. And yet a Pistons team, Warriors end up sweeping the season series against the Pistons. They beat them back in mid-January, but a Pistons team that, one of the young up-and-coming teams in the Eastern Conference, a team that's going to make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. And, they saw a lot of the shine that the Warriors had been getting, and deservedly so, and they wanted to take it, at least attempt to try and take it to the OGs tonight, and for the Warriors to be able to withstand some of the youthful exuberance of the Pistons, and Dennis Schroeder putting some quick buckets on them, and Tobias Harris doing his thing, some of the veteran players as well. Malik Beasley talking all kinds of nonsense up and down the Warriors roster and dancing around throughout the course of the night. But what a win for Golden State. 808 KNBR, the number. Steph Curry ends up with 32. Jimmy Butler, for the second consecutive game, went into Jimmy Buckets takeover mode. I thought he kept the Warriors in the game almost single-handed in the third. Not the most aesthetically pleasing game for Jimmy Butler. He did have some turnovers, but Jimmy Butler ends up with his Warriors high 26 after the game on Thursday in Brooklyn, where he goes for 25 twice, and Jimmy Butler going for 26 in this one. And how about Draymond Green? Warriors were looking for a big bucket, and Draymond Green, after Quentin Post had airballed a three, comes up with what proves to be the biggest bucket of the night, a three-pointer to give the Warriors the lead as they fell behind 108-107 in a back-and-forth thriller, although a definite slugfest, rock fight, whatever you want to call it. lot of lead changes in this game, and it was a back-and-forth affair as the Warriors get the job done 115 to 110. But tonight I think it goes to the big three. As you look at Steph going for 32 and Jimmy Butler 26 and Draymond with the big three. But the Warriors also don't win this game without Guy Santos. What a spark Guy Santos was for Golden State in this one. 15 points that they needed. He ended up fouling out. He was playing extremely physically. He was grinding, and he hit some buckets, got to the free throw line. How about the and one putback? So Guy Santos was huge for the Warriors in this one. Moses Moody, not the best shooting night, but Moses Moody, I thought, helped grind the Warriors out. It was just a grimy slugfest of a game. Gary Payton II, grinding things out. Not a lot of teams couldn't hit threes early in the game and wound up not hitting threes really for the entire night. If you look at Detroit 5 of 23 from 3-point range. The Warriors also win this game at the free throw line, and you can talk about a lot of free throws, too many free throws. I don't think any Warrior fan should be complaining about free throws tonight and fouls and too much of this and too much of that, because the Warriors won this game at the foul line tonight. 41 attempts to the Pistons 36, and a 6-point advantage for the Warriors, 33-27 in terms of free throws made, even though the Warriors did miss 8. Detroit wound up missing 9, and that helped prove to be the difference. 33 for 41. Stephen Curry, 12 for 12, and the Warriors needed all of those free throws to be able to prevail in this one. The Warriors got their three-point shot going a little bit, certainly more than the Pistons did, and that helped the Warriors absorb getting outscored in the paint 56-36 and be a minus 20 there. So a lot of key contributors in different ways. Cade Cunningham did his thing for the Pistons. Malik Beasley, big game. The Warriors at times got hit by the Pistons' size. Duren, 13 and 13. Isaiah Stewart had an impact on the game, and all night it just kind of felt like the Pistons were the young team with a chip on their shoulder that was going to attempt to try and see if they could bait the Warriors maybe into some nonsense. And the Warriors all night were just up to the challenge. Big play in key moment after big play in key moment to not only hang in the game, but eventually win the game by that final of 115 to 110. Early, Warriors end up starting big. Brandon Podziemski went through his pregame warm-up, but unable to go in this one again tonight with the bilateral lower back soreness. And Moses Moody was on Cade Cunningham early. Warriors actually got up 9-0 in the first 2:25, and they were making the Pistons pay early with Quentin Post getting a couple of buckets. Pistons put Cade Cunningham on Quentin Post, and Post, not the best Quentin Post game overall, but he had a couple of buckets early that got the Warriors off to a decent start. And then from there, the Warriors had a long scoring drought, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Too many turnovers tonight for the Warriors all night long. That's also a big part of the story as to, why was this game not more of a comfortable game for the Warriors? They were as sloppy as they've been in the Jimmy Butler era tonight. 19 turnovers leading to 26 points for the Pistons. But the Warriors also forced 20. So at least it was even in terms of not the points off turnovers, but the 20 turnovers for Detroit. So they were just as sloppy, and the Warriors forced them into it. It wound up being an even basically matchup as it relates to that, which allowed the Warriors to basically win the game in other ways. But yeah, sloppy. I thought the Warriors were a little sluggish throughout the course of the night, even though they did get off to the 9-0 start. Let me tell you, the energy is back inside Chase Center. Chase Center was pretty lit tonight. And again, they responded. It was an odd night. A fire alarm goes off. between the first and the second quarter. Fire alarm goes off. They got the big thing up on the screen. Check out the KNBR socials to look at it. I'm sure everybody was talking about it on television. Fire alarm goes off. They initially send out an automated message telling everybody to evacuate the building. And people are starting to get up and head for their seats. Finally, they're able to get some kind of relay from the security and health and safety folks in charge. And they make a quick announcement over the PA, hey, we've received clearance. It's a false alarm. Everybody can go back to their seats and play on. And then there were about 6 minutes of game action where after that, the PA went out. So there was no PA announcements for baskets. There was no music playing during timeouts. There was no prompts during the game. No music playing during the game. No beats during the game. No defense prompts during the game. It was just the crowd trying to get themselves worked up and into the game. And the Warriors actually got themselves back in the game at that point. They were down. The Pistons had them down a little bit, and the Warriors able to fight back at that point after the Warriors had been up 22-20. Pistons on a 9-2 run to start that second quarter, and then the Warriors after that with the no music and the sound system, basically after the Warriors called a quick timeout, and the Warriors got back into the game as there continued to be no sound system. So kind of a wild, bizarre, strange feel in the building, but again, the Warriors showing that they can win games in a multitude of different ways, and we talked about it a lot earlier on Just Dubs, the fact that it's not going to be all rainbows and easy, and that this homestand for the Warriors really truly is more difficult than meets the eye, and the Pistons are right at the forefront of that. A team that's played really well in the Eastern Conference, played really well the last 2.5 months, basically since December. So yeah, Warrior fans should enjoy it without a doubt, and we're here for you at 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. The Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line is open. We're live on YouTube and Twitch as well. As the Warriors 11-1 with Jimmy Butler, they improved to 36-28 overall on the season. So they maintain their spot in 6th in the Western Conference, and they also keep pace with the Rockets. Rockets, we talked about it the other night, have a couple of games. They just finished 2 against the Pelicans. Houston won them both after the Rockets had been on a losing streak. So the Warriors remain 3 back of Houston for 5th in the Western Conference, 3.5 back of Memphis in the Western Conference. The Grizzlies currently in 4th. Warriors 4 back in the loss column. They move a half game up on Minnesota with a 1-game advantage in the loss column on the Timberwolves, plus the tiebreaker. They move a 1.5 games up on the Clippers, and they move 2 games up on Sacramento. The Clippers and Sacramento play tomorrow down in Los Angeles. So one of those teams is going to gain a half game back, and one of those teams is going to lose another half game to the Warriors tomorrow before the Warriors are back in action on Monday against Portland. So this team's stringing wins together. It's 4 in a row. It's 11 of 12 with Jimmy Butler and 11 of 13 overall as the Warriors find themselves victorious in this one. Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line. Golden State Lumber and Building Showroom text line. The 408. JD, do you believe they can get all the way to 5th? They can get to 5th. They can definitely get tonight, though, and really every unexpected loss. And look, the Pistons came in with the same record as the Warriors. They're tough. Like, that is a good young team that's growing. They've been bad for a number of years. But, you lose a game like tonight, you're basically a 2-game losing streak away with the Rockets winning 1 or 2 from kind of being out of 5th. So you're in it, but you got to keep winning. Not only to keep the teams that are behind you off your back, off your heels, but to also continue to put pressure on the Rockets, continue to put pressure on the Grizzlies and some of those other teams. And the Timberwolves have been hot at this point as well. And so you look at it, the Warriors are going to have to look. They're going to need every win they can get. And once you get to the middle point of March and really toward the end of March, a lot of the teams that find themselves in the race, the cream starts to rise to the top. And teams that have the highest of level expectations start to win and beat the pretenders a little bit more and more. And I think we're seeing the Warriors potentially get a little bit of an early start as it relates to that. So 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. Warriors get the win 115 to 110. Let's get an early edition of Kyle's Clicks here before we take our first time out just before the top of the 9 o'clock hour. We'll see if we keep this thing going. Might keep it going all the way till 10 tonight since we didn't reach the air till a little bit after 8:30. What a long game. I mean, typically an 5:30 game's over by about 8 o'clock. That game didn't end till damn near 8:30 with all the free throws. Again, not the most aesthetically pleasing. I actually enjoyed the game. I enjoyed it. I thought it was competitive as hell. I thought it was entertaining. I thought the emotion was back at Chase Center tonight. I think it's been better in the 3 games since Jimmy Butler's been in the fold. But I think it was an appreciative crowd, Kyle. It was an appreciative crowd of what the Warriors had done on the trip and what Steph Curry specifically had done on the trip. I think he was really getting the MVP chance, and the love affair between the Warrior fan base and Steph Curry is like no other. And also just the respect and appreciation for everything that Jimmy Butler has brought to the fold here and allowing for the Warriors to level up. Rusty Nail, this is a game the Warriors would have surely lost pre-Jimmy trade. How many times have we said that, Kyle? I was joking with somebody again tonight at Chase Center, and it's 13 games. I mean, I feel like the Warriors would be 3-13, 3-10 if they had not made the trade. But no, there's no question. I mean, Jimmy, 26 in this one, and again, he's just so steady. He's so steady, even on a night where he's going to be pissed at himself because he had so many turnovers in the game tonight. What did he end up with? 4 turnovers? Yeah, 4 turnovers for Jimmy, 4 for Draymond, 4 for Curry. Again, it's typically the guys who are the primary ball handlers. Jimmy Butler is on record saying he hates bleeping turnovers and wants to make the simple play always. And so for the Warriors to win this game and get the job done, having as many turnovers as they did, I think is impressive. Without question, Rusty Nail, Warriors lose this game pre-Jimmy. Fitzgerald Brown, this team is showing grit that they haven't shown for some time. They really look like they believe they can compete with anyone on any given night. And tonight, I thought, used the Pistons challenging them as motivation to clap back and to challenge. Like, tonight was a fun game, I felt like, for the Warriors. I thought they embraced the fact that the Pistons were so pesky and so physical, and that the game at times got borderline dirty. And, I think it all in all was good-natured, but the Pistons have some, let's be honest, the Pistons have some likes to fight guys on their roster. They really do. I mean, Stewart has been in some altercations. Like, they've got a few guys who have been in some altercations, and they wanted the smoke tonight. Respect to the Pistons as a young up-and-coming team. They wanted the smoke, but I think that smoke pushed the Warriors to have to fight. And, frankly, again, the Pistons are going to make it in the Eastern Conference to the playoffs. But tonight was kind of a playoff feel. It really was a rugged game. And the Warriors were very comfortable trying to win rugged and win when guys aren't shooting the ball well. And I do think it was a extremely Fitzgerald gritty game. A gritty game. Rebel to Sounds. Guy Santos played good, showed heart. Guy Santos was awesome tonight. I mean, the putback where he got knocked down, and that was incredible. And then he's screaming at the crowd and letting everybody have it. I mean, it was just it was awesome. I mean, Guy Santos. I'll tell you what Guy Santos has done in the last handful of games. He's making it awfully difficult to not be in the rotation moving forward. And again, I That's obviously we know who's coming back at some point. But, I mean, Guy Santos really fits the mold. And Guy Santos complements. He's not the greatest player by any means, but his ability to knock down some shots here and there and just fly around and hustle and provide energy and a spark and an emotional lift. He provided an emotional lift tonight for a team that I think at different points in the game really needed an emotional lift. And I think, you need guys like that. And he's going to make things very difficult on Steve Kerr, I think, to pull him out of the rotation once this team gets whole with Jonathan Kuminga back. You still need to see what Kuminga can do. And obviously we all know Kuminga has the ability when he's playing at his best to push this team to another level. But Guy Santos is somebody that really, on a night where others who have been playing well didn't have it as much, Guy Santos stepped in and filled that void in terms of some of the efficient scoring punch that the Warriors really, really, really needed. And so I agree with you, Rebel. EB here, Moody with the big steal. Yeah, Moody played hard. Moody was playing his ass off without question. And Moody, I think he deserves his flowers tonight for it not being a great shooting night. He got the Cade Cunningham assignment, early and regularly. And so it was a fun night for him to fight and scratch and help his team win on a night where he isn't making. Because so often the discussion about Moses Moody is, well, if he doesn't make shots, does he? Can he does other things? It's not like a Buddy Hield syndrome, but when he makes shots, it's really easy to keep him out there. When he doesn't make shots, you start to wonder, do you have enough offense in other areas to be able to offset it? And tonight, I think he proved that he's a guy that can be on the court and play significantly, even on a night where maybe he's not making shots. And he ended up playing 36 minutes tonight. And the Warriors needed him to play 36 minutes tonight. 3 of 11, 1 of 6 on twos tonight. He did knock down a couple of threes, big steal, 7 boards. Warriors held their own on the boards tonight, a 46-44 advantage against a big Detroit team. Detroit, one of the bigger teams in the league. They've got a couple of really good centers, and they've got some size among their wing players, and even their guards have a little bit of size and length to them. So, yeah, Moody, big steal, and they needed him tonight. Max Lopez, Santos is Toscano, Juan Toscano Anderson 2.0. Yeah, with a little better offensive game. But yeah, he does hustle and scratch. He does have a little Juan Toscano Anderson to his hustle game for sure. James A lot of ex-Warriors on the Pistons. Who are the other ones? Who am I?
I saw
Lindy
Waters on the bench.
Lindy. Yeah, Lindy. Okay. So that's am I missing somebody obvious here? It was Schroeder, obviously, who had 6 points in about 2 minutes. Ended up with 5 for the rest of the night. But am I missing some? I mean, Tim Hardaway's dad played for the Warriors. Tim Hardaway Jr. didn't play for Hardaway's dad played for the Warriors.
I think the first player that comes to mind, former Warrior that played for the Pistons, is actually James Wiseman. I know he's not on the Pistons, but
yeah, okay, yeah, no, that he does come to mind. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, the Warriors ended up getting about a quarter of the Indiana Pacers roster back in the day because of the malice at the Palace that happened against the Pistons. They got Steven Jackson and Al Harrington, and they got some dudes off of the malice in the Palace. But yeah, couple former Warriors. Estimated eyes, I can't wait till the playoffs. I can't wait to see playoff Jimmy buckets. We're seeing a little more of it the last couple of games. He still, his 3 doesn't look great, but he knocked down 2 of 4 tonight. But I think, 9 of, I mean, he was 7 for 13 on twos. He missed a couple of layups tonight. Did you catch tonight? He off of one of the missed layups, the ball ended up going out of bounds, and he didn't get a delay of game for it, but he actually grabbed the ball as the players were lined up. He actually grabbed the ball after it went out of bounds, and it was going to be Warriors ball to inbound. And he took it, and he went and he put it in the basket. Like, he went and like just put it right over the top and laid it in, almost to prove to himself that there wasn't a lid on the basket. It was kind of a whimsical moment, and didn't get a delay of game for it. It was going to be Warriors ball, but he was really at times frustrated tonight with the turnovers. Always, he is one thing you notice watching him in person. He really is hard on himself. Like, he has a standard, and we talk about the turnovers. He doesn't like turnovers, and he was really upset with himself tonight for a couple of the missed layups at key moments where the Warriors made some good reads to get him on cuts at the basket and just unable to put a couple of them in. And so, yeah, he was upset about that for sure. So 808 KNBR, Pine Needle, it was amazingly quiet but effective 26 for Jimmy. He's just so steady. He is just so absolutely steady. Let's take a timeout. 415-808-5627 if you want to jump in on the phone lines. We'll get more in the YouTube chat as well as Kyle clicks over and we switch from Just Dubs to Dubs OT. These Saturdays are tough, and we got the two different banners. But at Dubs OT, Just Dubs, it all plays. We're officially Just Dubs right now. Warriors win 115-110, and we are here for it from Harmonic at Thrive City on the Sports Leader.
Hoops Heads, Dubs OT with John Dickinson keeps balling. Streaming live at twitch.tv/The Sports Leader.
All right, Warriors win 115-110. Big night for Steph. Big night for Guy Santos as well. Jenny Kavnar there on NBC Sports Bay Area, part of the Women's Empowerment and International Women's Day broadcast on NBC Sports Bay Area. Great job by everyone putting that together. Warriors 11-1. With Jimmy Butler in the lineup. He goes for 26. His Warriors high. It's 25 and 26 in the last two games, respectively. And the Warriors are 8 over 500, having won 4 in a row. They are 36 and 28 and 6th in the Western Conference with 18 games to go. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. What does tonight tell you? Who's your hero tonight? For the Warriors, I think Guy Santos gets the game ball to Guy Santos tonight, Kyle. I think Guy Santos has got to get a game ball. I mean, how can you not give it? You got to give one to Jimmy, right? How can you not give one to Steph? Do you give one to Draymond for hitting the big three? I guess Draymond's out. I guess Draymond's got to be out because Steph and Jimmy Butler had bigger games. But, I mean, the Warriors, you can go up and down the line. They don't win this game if Jimmy Butler doesn't have the game that he had. And the Warriors don't win this game if Guy Santos doesn't have the game that he had, because the Warriors really needed the offensive production to help offset the fact that, this was not, it was Steph and Jimmy, 58 combined, and then, 3 in double figures, but it was low double figures, and it wasn't efficient. Draymond not efficient tonight, although he ended up with 12, 9, and 7 with a block and 3 steals. I mean, Draymond Green was a man possessed. And, the folks in Michigan know that 3-pointer was probably going to have a pretty good shot of going in. Like Draymond, just amazing, even not a good 3-point shooter throughout the course of his career, barring that one 2015-2016 year. You just feel like he's got a better shot in a big moment. It just feels like in a big moment, he's more apt to make it. With the Warriors really searching. If that shot misses, we might be talking about a Warrior loss tonight and a dip down to 7th in the standings and basically being right there in the mix with the Clippers and the Kings, trying to avoid 7, 8, 9 here and avoid the play-in tournament, because that's the thing. I mean, if you get to it's right on the fringe. You got a couple people stopping by and saying hi. Here at Chase Center, Gordo in the house tonight, trying to buy me 3 rounds before the show even started. I'm like, Gordo, I gotta have one. We gotta go one at a time, bro. Like I'm not one of these guys that wants to, have the first one here and then, kind of be working on it as we're doing the show and have like 3 more sitting here. Although, if Gordo wanted to do that, then those could maybe be the complimentary beverages if you stop by and say hi. So maybe maybe that's a new way to do it. But we are here at Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City. So cheers to everyone. Shout out to Jimmy, the manager, the second most famous Jimmy now in the Bay, in the Chase Center Thrive City zip code. But Alex is here tonight. Grace was here earlier. We got Mike and Alex running the show and closing up shop here tonight at Harmonic for Dubs OT with JD. Let's get more Kyle's clicks here. Appreciate everybody. We got a good crowd on hand tonight, YouTube and Twitch, and a couple of phone lines open. 808 KNBR. Juju chiming in. If JK had the mindset of Guy, we would be an instant contender. Boy, that's for sure. I mean, I think Guy, while they are completely different players, that do the little things mindset, it's actually outside and around the building to the outside. Yeah, I was getting asked if there's a restroom. I'm giving directions to the restroom. I'm a man of the people. It's outside, it's just outside and around the bend. Man of the people. I couldn't be rude. I mean, a woman comes up and she's like, "You know where the restroom is?" Like, and I'm kind of I'm one of few here in the back, and I mean, you got to help the people. You got to help the people. I do think Kuminga can take almost completely opposite players in some ways. I do think Kuminga can take some of the hustle energy component, because the reality is that I think is more important for Kuminga when he comes back than scoring numbers. It's defense, it's rebounding, it's just hustle, energy. You know, as one of the younger, more talented players on the Warriors roster, the guy among the young players with the most upside, he should be a high motor guy. He's not always a high motor guy. And I think in part because he's so talented, he can look good kind of coasting. You know, he's that talented. And I think, you know, it's a no coast mindset, I think, is what you want to see from Jonathan Kuminga when he comes back. And by the way, again, we're kind of working a game ahead on Kuminga, and I you know, they had him go through scrimmaging again with some of the G League players and staffers and different things before the game tonight. And it sounds like he's not going to play Monday, though not official. Feels like the game against Sacramento is, after 2 more days off, Tuesday and Wednesday, is going to be more in line with the potential for a Jonathan Kuminga return. But look, Kuminga's got to be himself and do the things that he does well. Again, I don't want to overstate it, but hustle and energy and emotion, those things are all net positives for Kuminga when he returns, as he tries to fit his way back into the fold here. Estimated eyes, I was a little worried without Pods. Can you believe I'm saying that? Yeah. Look, Pods has become a good player. He's become a needed player for the Warriors. So not having him, I mean, he's one of their starting players without a doubt. Come on over. You want to say hi? Come on over. How's it going? Yeah, come on over here. Come on. Yeah, on earlier this morning. What was your name? Lind? Glenn, nice to meet you. Glenn, hop over to there you go. Say hi. Say hi to Kyle. If you want, say hi to Kyle. You can come over to this side. It's a little easier on this side. Kyle's a producer. Yeah. Yep. Kyle's our producer. Yeah. Glenn, come on over. Say hi. Yeah. It's a lot easier on this side with
John Joe Curley.
With the camera. Yeah.
John Joe Curley's in Dublin on.
Yep. Same room.
Yeah.
Him and Young Tony.
Yeah, Young Tony.
Him and Young Tony.
Tony is the best sport operator.
I don't know. I know. Kyle wants none of that. Come on. Well, Glenn, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. All of that. We appreciate it. Anytime. Would you? Anybody else want to come over and say hi? No. Okay. Camera shy. Oh, awesome. Nice. Beautiful. Nice. Well, no, you're not camera shy. That's right. We got my man in the Curry jersey. What's up? What's your name? Al. Al. Nice to meet you, man. I'll turn this around. Go ahead, Al.
What's good to everybody enjoying this win? You know, we went from the bottom. Now we're gonna drive into the playoffs. So y'all get ready. Get to Thrive City this offseason. We good.
That's it. There it is. Appreciate it. And don't wait for the off season. That's okay. I covered you. Don't wait for the off season. There's a lot of season left at this point. Yeah, they're sad about Bryce. Bryce, he's coming back. Bryce Eldridge is coming back. We got a crew here of KNBR heads. We love it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the beverage, and thank you for stopping by here at Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City. I've missed the people, Kyle. I know we're going to get the one text from that curmudgeon guy that always texts, "Oh, you shouldn't be talking to people. It's bad radio." You know what? It's 9:15 on a Saturday night. it's great radio at 9:15 on a Saturday night. And you know what? It's even better. It's even better for the folks. I've missed the people, Kyle. I've missed the people. We've had 12 of the last 14 away, and I was in Chicago and in LA and in Sacramento. So I've been covering some of these games. I've been to some in-person games here, but only 2 at Chase, only 2 at Harmonic here in the last month. It's all changing. It's great to see the people showing up and showing out. Estimate High Dubs fans are back. Appreciate. Look, it was. I'm telling you, it was a festive atmosphere tonight inside Chase Center. I know Chase has gotten a bad rap. Well, actually, maybe an appropriate rep. Let's be honest. We call it like we see it. It's been a little dead in Chase this year for the most part. It really has since the 12-3 start. Really, since the first Clay return game for the most part. The OKC game was another one when the Warriors beat OKC into January. That was another high energy, fun game. The Phoenix game. The game when they beat Dallas the first time, those were all. I think this was, and maybe I'm missing a couple here. I think that was a top 5 Chase Center game this year in terms of excitement, intensity. James A. Winning changes everything. Winning without question. And look, this team continuing to show they can do it in different ways. I said it, and we talked about it when they made the trade. I think this Warriors team is set up to win in ways that they weren't necessarily equipped to win in the dynastic era. Like this is much more of a grimier team. This is just, they are in many ways, you've still got Steph Curry doing what Steph Curry does, but in a lot of ways, and Steve mentioned this, Steve Kerr on Thursday, this team's developing an identity, and Steve said he thought it was more of a defensive identity. I think it's more of a gritty, grimy, grinded out, physical. I think this team is taking on the identity of Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green with Steph Curry still being Steph Curry. And I think that's something that bodes well for this team. Do they have enough shooting to win multiple playoff series? Do they have enough offense? We'll find out. And maybe they don't. But the one thing you don't, it's less important if you're going to play your ass off the way the Warriors are playing their ass off with some regularity. Jimbo on the YouTube chat here, Warriors playing every stinking game like it's a game in the finals. And you'd hope that some of the games against some of these lesser opponents, like tonight isn't in the same category. The Pistons are a good young team. But you'd hope that maybe the Brooklyn game isn't quite as taxing. The Charlotte game isn't hanging in the balance with a quarter to go. Like you'd hope that some of these games the Warriors would be able to put away maybe a little bit more quickly. I just don't think that they're necessarily equipped for that offensively on a lot of nights. So I think some of these games are going to end up a little bit closer than too close for comfort for some of the Warrior fans. But I think this team is showing that they want the smoke. They want the edge. They want the physicality. And I think tonight was bordering on mixing it up. I mean, look what Brooklyn did. Brooklyn the other night was just trying to thug the game out, truthfully. Like they were just trying to make the game as ugly as possible. And again, I think the Warriors love that now. This version of the Warriors is very comfortable in that type of setting. And we always saw the Warriors level up when they needed to in terms of that, but it took a toll. And I think this style of play might take a toll between now and the end of the regular season, plus the playoffs as well. But this is not going to be the last time that we see the Warriors mixing it up with an opponent. That was something that I picked up on immediately. This team is going to be edgy and frustrating to the opponent. And I'm going to tell you, I think Warrior fans are going to vibe on that. Warrior fans are going to love it. That's going to be a little bit of a different part of the identity as this team attempts to get into the playoffs. And they're playing like they need every game. The truth is they need every game. San Jose Jazz fan 4, Warriors sucked on threes. Pistons were worse, a lot worse. One of the differences in the game, San Jose Jazz fan 4, as we mentioned at the top of the show, Pistons were 1 for 11 and ended up 5 for 23. The Warriors were, I'm looking at my first quarter notes here, the Warriors were 1 for 10 at the end of the first quarter and ended up 12 for 41. So the Warriors ended up not great, 10 of 30 or whatever it was, 11 for 33, 11 for 31 for the rest of the game. But, yeah, the Pistons ended up – Warriors were a plus 21 on threes. Plus 21 on threes, plus 6 at the free throw line. And the Warriors end up minus 20 in the paint. And how do you offset that? Well, you offset it with the pluses that we just mentioned here. And, yeah, the Pistons did not have it from three-point range. East Oakland Zay, I swear before the Butler trade, it was so hard to watch this team play, LOL. Yes, it was. You know, you're speaking the truth, East Oakland Zay. That is the gospel, man. Like that, it was. This season was headed to a very dark place. This season was headed to an incredibly dark place. 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. Steve, Warriors are on a 2010 Giants-like run. Not a bad comp. I mean, that team was mid and borderline mediocre. Robert Brown Giants were completely unexpected, though, didn't have this kind of star power. That's fair, although, I mean, by the end of it, they had a star rookie and a whole lot of star pitchers at that point. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, they didn't have a Steph and a Jimmy Butler, I guess, but they did in the pitching department. They had some guys that were pretty damn good in their own right, plus Buster Posey in his rookie year. But yeah, I'll buy a few similarities there in terms of, you know, team that was all but out of it middle of the year toward August, and then got on a run the final 6 to 8 weeks, and then became a team nobody wanted to play. And I think, you know, the other part is nobody at that point knew what the Giants would become, so it was a little different. Everybody knows who the Warriors are. Everybody knows who Steph Curry is. Everybody knows who Draymond Green is. I think the rest of the league is starting to really look at what the Warriors are doing on a night-in, night-out basis. I think the rest of the league starting to, like, could they really do it? Could they really get on a big, like, they are a team nobody wants to see. And that is nobody. Nobody in a play-in game, if it's Minnesota or the Kings or the Clippers or whoever. Nobody in a first round if it's Denver or the Lakers for that matter, or Houston or Minnesota. Nobody wants to see any of what the Golden State Warriors have cooking. Ian Johnson, in the past, if the Warriors weren't hitting threes, they weren't winning. That's a great call. And again, I still don't think they have enough shooting, but they have the ability to get to the free throw line now, which offsets it. I mean, 33 of 41, and the Warriors are getting to the line. I mean, since Jimmy Butler joined the team, the Warriors are getting to the line more than anybody in the league, and they're making their free throws. Tonight, it looked early as if, maybe some of the missed free throws were going to haunt, but the Pistons ended up with a couple of missed free throws that haunted them, and the Warriors got better as the game went on. At one point, I think the Warriors were 10 for 16 at the line, 10 for 16 at the line, so they ended up 23 of their last 25 the Warriors hit, and that was as the Pistons were missing some of their free throws. Yeah, this team can just get the job done in different ways. And I think that's – if it's a hot game, it's almost forget about it. I think there are still going to be some hot games, but I think showing that you could impose your will is more important. And the Warriors are showing everybody that, young and old, they can impose their will. And this homestand is going to be a test. Tonight's a test. Portland's a young, athletic team with some size. The Kings always, for the most part, give the Warriors trouble. Didn't maybe as much a couple of weeks ago, but they've been playing better basketball. The Knicks, we just saw that matchup, although Jalen Brunson's not going to play a week from tonight when the Knicks are here for an ABC Saturday Night Showcase game. And then the true fun ones, I think, with Brunson out are going to be not necessarily the Knicks, although it's always fun. And the Knicks have been competitive. Were against the Clippers last night, got beat, even without Brunson. But, I mean, the Denver-Milwaukee part of this homestand is going to be fun. That back-to-back is going to be fun. With, Giannis back, and how do the Warriors match up with the Nuggets, a team that they haven't beaten since the Warriors won the championship, and that team didn't have Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray playing. Those two come back. Denver wins the chip, gets to the second round, ousted by the Timberwolves. Warriors haven't beaten them in either of the last 2 years, plus the one game that they played earlier this year in Denver. The Warriors blew that game in the final 3 minutes in Denver in early December. Warriors get Jimmy Butler after losing whatever it is, 8 in a row to Denver, and all of a sudden they can beat Denver. That's another box checked. They've already shown they can beat Milwaukee, although Milwaukee at that point didn't have Giannis, so that one may be tamped down a little bit. And Milwaukee, I don't think a true contender in the East, but I still think Milwaukee among obviously the better teams in the Eastern Conference. You look up and they're, fourth? I mean, the top four in the East is separated by a couple of games, or a game basically, Milwaukee and Indiana 5. And the top 6 is pretty clear cut. It's Cleveland, it's Boston, the Knicks 3, they got to get Jalen Brunson back, the Bucks, and then Indiana and Detroit, and then everybody else is just not very good. There's basically 6 good teams in the East, and credit to the Pistons. Max Lopez, credit to the Pistons for taking advantage of the mediocre East to be able to move up and basically get to a point where they're going to be a play-in. They're not going to be a play-in team. They're going to make the offs as the 6th seed in all likelihood in the East, with an opportunity maybe to move up. Max Lopez, final one here before we take a timeout. Nice to win one with Curry not shooting well, and he still ends up with 32 because he got all those free throws. Has Jimmy Butler impacted Steph Curry's whistle? Sure feels like it has. And, I mean, Steph, I'm going to bring up the game log, and he's been on an unbelievable tear with the three-point shot. But, I mean, since Jimmy Butler, maybe it's anecdotal, maybe I'm not going to come up with an average here comparison, but Kyle, since Jimmy Butler joined the Warriors, 8 free throw attempts, 9 free throw attempts, only 4 in Dallas, the one game the Warriors lost with Jimmy Butler in the fold, then 9 against Houston, only 2 in Sacramento, only 3 against the Mavs, only 1 against Charlotte, but the Warriors won all 3 of those games easily, so it wasn't a factor. At Orlando, 12, Philly, 4, Charlotte, 8, only 3 at the Knicks. He had 9 against Brooklyn. 12 for 12. He's had 2 12 for 12s in the last 9 days. 2 12 for 12s at the free throw line. I'm looking right now. Steph had 1 double-digit free throw attempt game the entire season. He's had 2 in the last 9 days. So I think there is an impact with Jimmy. I think Steph might be getting a better whistle because of Jimmy Butler. Again, we'll what do you think, Kyle? I know I've asked the question.
Oh no, I thought
It looks like he's 7-8 free throws. Roughly, it looks like he's about 8 free throws a game average.
I think we brought this up maybe one of the
Orlando
first
game,
few,
probably.
One of the first few games actually. I don't think necessarily Steph, but if the team as a whole would get a better whistle, and we were kind of like joking about it because it seems like kind of ridiculous, right? But I think there's a little bit of truth behind it, like some subconscious refereeing truth.
I mean, there was a play tonight where, I mean, you remember the one I'm talking about. I think it was Schroeder. Jimmy Butler was working on Schroeder, and he just took a quick little pull-up jumper, and Schroeder kind of, tapped him on the arm. It probably was a foul. It didn't. Schroeder was incensed. He didn't think it was. But when do you like Jimmy Butler just gets that call? Like and like he just threw it up. Schroeder tapped him or didn't tap him. They called and Jimmy Butler, before the whistle even stops being blown, is like walking his way to just strutting his ass to the free throw line, like, I'm about to get 2 points right here. Like, there's something to it. I do think Steph has been driving more, which is part of it. I think the drive has been opened up by the fact that Jimmy Butler has been on the court and everything's spread out a little more, and there's more space for Curry to attack. And I think he's been able to do it a little bit more creatively and cleverly, and I think that's led to potentially some more fouls. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Let's go ahead and take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll get to sounds at Dubs OT, and we'll get to fun with numbers. More of Kyle's clicks. If you want to jump in on the phone line still, either the Golden State Lumber. Oh, do we have JT? I missed JT. Do we still have JT?
Yeah, he just called in.
Let's get JT. Let's get JT, and then we'll take a quick timeout and come back with all that. JT, what's going on, my man?
Hey, big win, man. That was an important win. I don't know if people realize, because you're right. They lose this and another one, and Houston wins, and it kind of goes away. I'll have another
fifth goes away. Fifth goes away immediately if you lose almost 2 in a row. But, yeah, go ahead.
Kuminga coming back. The vibe of this starting lineup and the basketball IQ with these guys that we have playing right now is so off the charts. I hope we don't force Kuminga back, because he isn't that. I'd like to see him come off the bench and just go, give him the keys to the car. Let him be that guy. Let him be Lou Williams. Let him be Vinny the Microwave. Just go. But as far as trying to fit him in, what's going on, I have concerns about that. Because his basketball IQ is not like these, especially the 3 guys, Steph, Butler, and Draymond. It's just off the charts. The vibe is so great right now, and they're just flowing so good. I just hope they don't try to force him into that. Just maybe give him his own thing coming off the bench. Just be the guy.
I don't think they're going to force him in. I really don't. He's going to come off the bench. He was coming off the bench even before the trade. Moses Moody, the Warriors, or whatever they are now, 15, 16-1 in games that he starts. I don't think they're going to mess with that. So I don't think he's going to start when he comes back, especially if Podziemski is healthy. And I think that the key is for him to get his offense off of everything else the Warriors are running. There will be, I think he's going to play with Jimmy Butler in the second unit. I think, and look, Guy Santos is making a case to stay in, but I think he's initially going to get Guy Santos's minutes, and they're going to play him with Butler in the second unit. And I don't think, and I really don't mean this as a slight, but I think in a way he can only help. And the reason I say that is because if he doesn't help, things have gone so well that he just won't play, JT. Like, Kerr will just – he'll bring him along slowly. I think things have gone well enough to where Kerr will have enough of an ability to bring him along slowly and let him work his way in. Now, if there's an injury or something like that, they may need him more. They may need his scoring punch more. But I think this thing's in a good place to succeed for those reasons.
Good. I agree. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, JT. JT in Oakland checking in. Appreciate it. 808 KNBR. Again, a couple of lines open between now and 10 o'clock here on Dubs OT. Let's go ahead and take that time out. We'll get to our Sounds of Dubs OT straight ahead. Warriors win 115-110. They get the job done against the Pistons. From Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City, it's KNBR 104.5 and 680 The Sports Leader.
KNBR presents the sounds of Dubs OT.
I can see the headline now. Kerr says Warriors better without Curry.
No class, no balls.
I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court.
Now here's John Dickinson.
All right, welcome back. It is Dubs OT with JD here from Harmonic at Thrive City. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yes. No, that's it. Appreciate you. Glenn and Al checking in again. I think they are heading out for the evening. We appreciate it. It is time for Sounds of Dubs OT as the Warriors win over the Pistons 115-110. Let's go ahead and get to it. Short and sweet tonight. We'll start with Steve Kerr. And Steve Kerr impressed tonight by a couple of things. The Warriors off the long road trip, and also, as we've been discussing for the last hour plus, going up against a very physical Pistons team that brought a lot of heat.
And these are always hard games coming off these types of road trips, long trips, 3-hour time change. So thrilled with just the competitive spirit, the energy, the effort that it took to win a key game. I mean, every game's key, obviously, now, but the first game of a homestand, we knew it would be tricky regardless, just with the travel, but especially against a team like that that's playing so well and is so physical.
Yeah, and look, that's a great nod and testament to the Warriors, the ability to be able to just grind it out, find a way to get it done, and win ugly. And this team is showing on a night in, night out basis, like we've talked about, that they're very comfortable being able to do that. From one Kerr, we move to another Steve Kerr, and another key talking point tonight on Dubs OT. It's the Jimmy Butler effect, and it's not only the Jimmy Butler effect offensively and opening things up for Steph Curry and allowing others to gain confidence. It's Jimmy Butler specifically in the knockdown, drag-out, old 90s or early 2000s Eastern Conference style of game that the Pistons were bringing in to Chase Center tonight. And here's Steve Kerr. I mean, point blank, it's an obvious point, but here he is on Jimmy Butler.
It's a big-time win, and I think, Jimmy, this is part of the Jimmy dynamic. He's built for these kinds of games. He just gets the ball and he'll get us a shot, and he'll get to the line, and he'll take big shots. And playoff Jimmy's a real thing. And in some ways that felt like a playoff game, like you said, the physicality and how kind of, it was kind of a rock fight, frankly, and guys like Jimmy really thrive in these type games.
My God, like are Steve and I sharing, like Steve and I are sharing words, sharing brain. Like, what is going on tonight? Like it's almost like Steve Kerr is doing the postgame show tonight here on KNBR. We are just aligned tonight. But yeah, Jimmy is I don't even think we've truly seen the Jimmy buckets playoff Jimmy part of this thing yet. But we've seen, I think, a little. I think tonight was. I thought the game in Brooklyn was the closest to it. I thought tonight was even more close to it with the 26 points. And again, I thought the level at which he took the game over in the late third quarter today was even greater than when he put the team on his back a little bit at the beginning of that fourth quarter on Thursday in Brooklyn, and he did it against a good team, which I think is the most important thing. All right, a couple of Steve Kerrs there. Sounds of Dubs OT. Let's get a couple of Draymond Greens. Draymond, this via NBC Sports Bay Area, and Draymond on the big shot, the three that gave the Warriors the lead, proved to be the game winner.
Well, I just know in that moment they're trying to take stuff away. When the money's on the line, I always say I like to make the big play. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I'm happy the shot went in. Congratulations to y'all on the all-female broadcast. That's incredible. What is it, National Women's Day, I think it is? But
International Women's Day. Thank you, sir.
So congrats to y'all. My lovely ladies over here, I love them. So to all the women in the world, congratulations. And we appreciate y'all. Y'all are really what makes this world go round. So we really appreciate y'all.
Great nod there to all the women as well on International Women's Day and the broadcast that he joined there on NBC Sports Bay Area. Good stuff. One more from Draymond. And I agree. I think Draymond, again, not the greatest shooter of all time, but somebody that you can count on in a big moment to make a play, whether it's a bucket or a defensive stop or whatever it needs to be in that moment. And tonight it was a 3 when the Warriors were looking. Somebody else was going to have to hit a shot for the Warriors to prevail in this game that wasn't Steph Curry or Jimmy Butler. And, Quentin Post airballed that corner 3 that he had to take that was rough. And Draymond stepped up and made the biggest shot of the night in terms of the moment at which he hit it. Draymond, final cut, and our final Draymond of Sounds of Dubs OT, just on the Pistons. Young squad, they've got some vets as well, but a team that's used the physicality and the style of play to go from bad to good. And they've been very bad the last few years, very bad. And they are a team that is going to be a playoff team in the East. They've done it with that physicality, and the Warriors were able to match it and beat it tonight.
Well, our coaches told us before the game, they foul every play. They're going to bring the physicality to the game, and they just bully teams. So we knew we were prepared for it. I don't think we handled their pressure as well as we would like to. We had 17 turnovers, but to get to the line 41 times, I think we did a pretty good job of using their pressure against them.
Just enough using their pressure against them. At times tonight, for as much as the Warriors got some big stops and forced some turnovers, there were times tonight. I mean, Cade Cunningham was doing whatever the hell he wanted on the court. Like that should be noted. And he's a hell of a young player. But the point of attack thing was a little bit more of a problem at different points. And the size, right? The Pistons, I do think, are a good test. Not only the bigs, but the wing size. And they have a guy that could really put his head down and look to attack and get to the rim and hit the little pull-ups. And so, Cade Cunningham's a hell of a young player. So I do think, even though the Pistons are still learning how to win and learning how to go from bad to good, I think it was a good test for some of the better teams down the line that the Warriors are ultimately going to play. And the physicality, without a doubt, was of playoff caliber. And the Warriors were definitely up to the test. But also, I think, in some ways showed some vulnerability moving forward. Cade Cunningham ended up with 31 and got to the line 10 times himself and got to the rim a lot. And, the types of teams that are going to have the potential to hurt the Warriors are going to be the types of teams that have those guards and the bigger wings and the truer bigs. Nobody's got a Jokic other than the Nuggets, but there are other teams that have guys like Stewart and guys like Duran and guys who can impose their will a little bit. And the Warriors are going to have to figure out ways to combat that, because this team truly still is at their best when they look to go small. And to be able to play their best players most consistently, they have to look to go small. And so, if they're going to play big, it's going to be Quentin Post. It's going to be Looney. And that's about it. So you're going to have to figure out ways to combat it. And the point of attack defense, I think, moving forward is something that they forced enough turnovers. They got enough big stops, didn't come into play. But I do think you saw some wrinkles from Detroit to where some of the vulnerabilities lie. And that's the other thing. We're learning about this team. We're still learning what they're good at, what they're not good at. I mean, it's 13 games. Really, it's 12. You can throw the game when Jimmy Butler didn't play in Philly out because, not that it doesn't count. It was a loss. But this is a completely different team if he's not on the court, as opposed to him being on the court. And the 11-1 with Jimmy Butler speaks to that. All right, Kyle, we want to do fun with numbers. We want to take a timeout. Do we want to do some Kyle's clicks? This is where on air. We're having an on-air show meeting right now.
I'm liking some fun with numbers, actually.
All right. Okay, let's play the thing. Let's play the thing and do fun with numbers.
This is Dubs OT with JD. Time now for fun.
I'm a fun guy.
With numbers.
No, I'm just having fun.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live on KNBR.com and the KNBR app.
All right, Warriors get the win, and they get the win 115-110 over the Pistons. And the Warriors end up now winning 9 of their last 10, and it's 10 of 11 with Jimmy Butler. It's 11 of 13 since the trade, including the one game. Hey, how you doing? Have a good night. And so, yeah, they are 18-13 now at home with 10 home games to go, 6 on this trip, and then the 4 that are coming up in April, 36-28 overall. The Warriors opened this 7-game homestand victorious. They've won the last 4 against Detroit. They sweep the season series against a good young Pistons team. Warriors were not in a good way when they played the Pistons in January in Detroit. That was sneaky, one of their more important wins at a time on a trip where they were extremely vulnerable, and they got that win, and they wind up getting this win coming back off the trip. That was after the Warriors had gotten blown out by the Kings, and then the Heat thumped them, and Jonathan Kuminga had just gotten hurt. That was the first game the Warriors won without Jonathan Kuminga, and it's hard to believe here we are 2 months later. That game was on January 9th, and the Warriors still without Jonathan Kuminga. Sounds like Thursday against the Kings, the most likely night for Jonathan Kuminga to return. 33 free throws made for the Warriors, season high. They had 41 attempts at Houston, or 41 attempts is also a season high. The Warriors had 31 of 41 at Houston on November 2nd. So that November 2nd game, they had their most makes, 31, eclipsed that tonight, 33. Warriors had the 41 attempts, which is the second most this season, and they had 51 in that game in Houston. Third time this year, second straight game, the Warriors won when trailing after 3 quarters, Kyle. 2 games in a row. The Warriors were down going to the fourth quarter, and they won. They were 1-22 before the last 2, but they beat Brooklyn and they beat Detroit tonight. Phoenix was the outlier at the end of December. And, of course, the game on Thursday. Warriors' 35th different lineup of the season tonight, second most in the NBA, trailing only Philadelphia. And the Warriors in the clutch now, their 38th clutch game of the season. The Warriors have won a couple of these in a row, 20-18 now. The Warriors are in the clutch. And since Jimmy Butler came on board, the Warriors are 4-2 in clutch games, but one of the games Jimmy Butler didn't play in. So they're 4-1 in clutch games that Jimmy Butler has played in. Specifically, the only loss was the Dallas game right before the All-Star break. Warriors are 30-9 when scoring at least 110. They had 115 tonight. How about Steph Curry, game-high 32? And Steph, congratulations to him, 25,000 career points, 832 in the third. Play was assisted by Jimmy Butler. Draymond Green went back to the court, got the ball for Steph. The 25,000, only the 26th player in NBA history to accomplish the milestone. So we're talking about game balls. Draymond literally went and got the game ball and presented it to Steph after the ball game for the 25,000 career points. 16th 30-point game for Steph on the season. And the most free throws for Steph in any game this season. He equaled that 12 against Orlando back on the road trip in the 56-point game there. Draymond, 12 points, 9 boards, 7 assists, a block, and 3 steals, and the go-ahead three-pointer with 35.2 seconds to go. How about this one for Draymond Green? The third go-ahead three-pointer in the final minute of the fourth quarter or overtime for Draymond in his career. Fifth assist of the night moved him into sole possession of second place in the all-time franchise career assists leader. And Jimmy Butler backs up his 25 with 26 tonight, the most points he scored with the Dubs. 25 in Chicago a month ago tonight, 25 in the game against Brooklyn, 26 tonight. 2 3-pointers. That is a season high, tying 2 3-pointers. Damn, Jimmy really doesn't shoot the three a lot. And he hasn't really shot it well. But 9 field goals made, the most with the Warriors. And he played 37 minutes tonight, the most that he's played with the Warriors. Back-to-back games for Jimmy where he's been 35-plus, and the Warriors needed it. With Golden State, Jimmy Butler averaging 17.8 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, a steal in 31.6 minutes per game. And Guy Santos, we talked about him. If Steph Curry gets the actual game ball, Guy Santos gets the proverbial game ball with the 15 points and the spark off the bench tonight, helping to lead the Warriors to victory. And Moses Moody didn't shoot it well, but did have 12 points. So that's our fun with numbers for tonight here from Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City. We also got Billy Joe from Alamo, who's on hand here as well. By the way, a lot of folks, a lot of the dignitaries here of our Dubs OT dignitaries stopping in and saying hi. Oh, and we also have a special shout out tonight. One of the great cameramen that works inside Chase Center, Kyle, wanted a shout out, and yeah, I will take requests on this one for his daughter Delilah, and huge shout out, daughter, sophomore in high school, part-time camera job with Stanford. So up and comer on the camera. Delilah, shout out tonight here on Dubs OT. All right, Kyle, the floor is yours. Final few minutes here from Harmonic in Thrive City. Let's get to another edition here of Kyle's Clicks as we close up shop. Our buddy Andis Brown. Yeah, our buddy Andis Brown. At this rate, Jimmy will have a statue at Chase before KD. Andis, that's cold, man. That's cold, brother. That is San Jose Jazz fan. My sources say Kerr says Warriors better without Kuminga. You might not be wrong, but Steve would have to be careful who he says that around because you don't want the owner to hear you. Niner Empire. Warriors are full of dogs. You know what? Here's the other thing. And not dogs like Kyle Kuzma, by the way, who we're going to see in 10 days. Nah, you don't have to play it. You don't have to play it, Kyle. It's woof. You don't have to play it. Who would have thought that with Jimmy Butler now in the fold, all of a sudden Moses Moody's a dog, and Guy Santos is a dog, and Brandon Pajemski's a dog, and like Quentin Post is a dog. Rough Quentin Post minutes tonight. But again, he's learning. And tonight was a game where he struggled. Good start tonight, and then some rough minutes. And then I credit Quentin Post for taking that 3 late. But man, I haven't seen an airballed 3 like that. And Kyle's probably too young for this, but I haven't seen an airballed 3 like that since Doug Christie in the 2002 Western Conference Finals playing for the Kings against the Lakers. And that all-time classic Game 7. And then Doug Christie admitted actually after the game that he was nervous. And yeah, the Lakers ended up winning that game and winning the championship. But yeah, one of the all-time great playoff series of this century. Hard to believe 23 years ago, but it was like same spot on the court, almost, and it like, whoa, late in the game, close game. Lakers ended up winning that game 7 of the conference finals in overtime. But yeah, but he took it. I give him credit for taking it. Like that, to me, that was a shot. And I think Tim Kawakami of the SF Standard had put it out on Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever. And that and he's absolutely right. It's a shot that he had to take. So, but who would have thought the Warriors all of a sudden have got a lot of dogs, DAWG, Cardavo, Golden State's Pit Bulls. I ain't arguing with you. I'm not arguing with that. Yeah, they got it. No doubt. Enrique Rivera, the wife got confused on a Saturday. JD, are you listening to Just Dubs? Nope. Enrique, I love you, brother. Enrique plays it both ways. Are you listening to Dubs OT? Nope, it's just Dubs. Are you listening to Nope, it's Dubs OT. We appreciate you, Enrique. Clutchmond, Read the Steed. Yeah, it was tonight for sure. Our buddy Otis Bird III, Santos provided that energy. Estimated eyes. They were giving out fouls like candy on Halloween. So many fouls tonight. I mean, how I haven't, Kyle, monitored the chat too closely as far as some of the sub conversations that have a tendency to break out. How are people feeling about the like just happy to get a win? Game was too ugly. Too many fouls. Like, to me, if you're a Warrior fan, you can't complain about the fouls tonight because it worked out to your advantage, even though obviously there were some calls that you don't – like, in a perfect world, right, Warrior fans want all 41 of the Warriors and like half of the Pistons ones, right? Then nobody's complaining about game flow. The game flow was terrible tonight. Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, game flow is terrible. But, yeah, not a lot of complaints about the fouls, mostly about how impressive it was that the Warriors pulled off this gritty win.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a fun game. And maybe it's bias from, in-person bias, right? Sometimes a game that may not appear to be, if it's exciting, even if it's not necessarily the prettiest game, if you're there and the vibe is lit, you feel it maybe a little bit more. But I thought it was a competitive game. I respect to the Pistons for the way that they played. I thought, and yeah, respect to the Warriors for accepting that challenge and showing that they could win that way. And as Chase fans love Jimmy because he loves coffee and wine, blends right in. Andis is crushing it tonight. And at first I thought Andis was maybe saying that Chase fans are a little soft because their coffee and like the wine and cheese, the old Niner wine and cheese, diss basically, that they weren't there to cheer. They were there to go have their tailgate parties with wine and cheese. But no, he blends right. I mean, he's so steady but he's steady, but he's steady. And he's composed, but he's also ferocious. It's a great blend. It's a great. Oh my God, it's a great blend. It's a great blend with some of that wine. CA, good to hear from you, CA. Soon as bro shoved Curry from the bench, I knew it was over from them. That's 2 games in a row where somebody's tried to shove Curry. And Curry, up to the challenge in both of those games. Are we up, Kyle, to our Dubs OT comment of the night?
I do want to preface that it kind of builds on yesterday because I forget who said it. Maybe it was EB here, but they said Jimmy is Jesus. And it doesn't build on that, but it has to do with religion.
Okay.
Now, time for the Dubs OT comment of the night.
San Jose Jazz fan 4, as Jesus said, I think winning covers a multitude of sins. Yeah, that's absolutely. Sports Jesus, definitely. Winning covers a multitude of sins, and the Warriors did turn the ball over a lot tonight, too much tonight. But a win is a win is a win is a win as you listen to KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, San Francisco, a Cumulus media station. Let's call it a night on that note. By the way, Draymond tonight flat out said, hey, this is a game that the Warriors would have lost before the trade. Curry agreed. And I don't think this is the only one, but I think it might be the greatest example of a game where Jimmy Butler was great in terms of scoring and dominance and opposing his will and all of those things. So I think that's significant as the Warriors continue to roll here. Not a lot, by the way, on the NBA scoreboard tonight as far as games impacting the West and the playoff race. Warriors did get the win. They maintained the 3-game deficit on the Rockets, who blew out the Pelicans tonight. Nothing else of note. The Lakers did get beat in Boston. That's more of the 2 versus 3 debate. Denver and OKC play tomorrow. Denver will play. Yeah, Denver's playing OKC tomorrow. Phoenix and Dallas are playing tomorrow, although they're kind of on the fringe, 10-11. Memphis is playing tomorrow. Sacramento and the Clippers are playing each other tomorrow, and Minnesota is hosting San Antonio. So tomorrow, with the Warriors not playing, a bigger day for the Warriors to kind of scoreboard watch and see if they gain or lose ground on some of these teams that they're contending with. And Detroit will go up and play Portland. Portland will be at Chase Center on Monday night, so it'll be a back-to-back for Portland, not a back-to-back for the Warriors, as they'll have tomorrow off. All right, that'll do it. Big thanks to Kyle Haar. Big thanks to our guy Ryan McCarthy as well. Thanks to Alex and Mike here at Harmonic Brewing, and Jimmy and Grace as well. And Austin Scott back at Chase doing great work for our digital team as well, and everybody who stopped by and said hi at Harmonic in Thrive City. We're back here on Monday following the Warriors and the Blazers, and then every game to follow that on this homestand. Warriors get the win, 115-110. It's KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
6 on the shot. Draymond, give me the ball. Warriors were looking to get the ball to Steph, but Draymond said, I'm open. I got this. And a turnover cause havoc again. It's going to be Warriors basketball.
Emirates Cup or bust.
Oh, hell yeah.
First of all, you gotta start off liking each other.
I'm super cereal.
Big fat dub.
Ain't nobody going to stop me.
I just wake up and I can shoot it no matter if I'm playing or not.
But great win.
Who are these guys?
I love you, JD. Bye, sugar.
I can see the headline now. Kerr says Warriors better without Curry.
Jimmy freaking Butler puts it in.
Everything's gonna be alright.